Straight ahead on CCX News, possible cuts to Medicaid. It's an issue that brought together families to speak out on the impact. Then the issue of sex trafficking brought to light for students at North Hennepin Community College. But first, a face you may recognize, how a Crystal man's sudden death is drawing attention from the many customers he helped. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. We begin with a local family mourning a Crystal man's unexpected death. As Sonia Goins reports, he worked at the Brooklyn Park Walmart for 2 decades and left quite an impression.
We was always there for each other.
The Davis family is still trying to wrap its head around a senseless act. Andrew Davis died unexpectedly on October 21st.
He did everything he could for his family, and I just wish he was still here.
They say Andrew had an outgoing spirit. He loved to bring out the best in everyone he met.
What I'm going to miss mostly about Andy is his love and his smile and his gift of cheer and peace.
For 20 years, Andrew greeted customers at this Walmart in Brooklyn Park.
The customers would leave their children with Andrew, and Andrew would have them all around the store running.
Andrew's generosity knew no bounds. His family recalls the time he stepped up to help a young girl who had lost her $10 and she didn't want to upset her grandmother.
Andy told her to pick out what she wants, and she did so, and he purchased everything that she needed with his discount card.
He would often lend a hand to his fellow co-workers. Besides Andy, they called him the Candy Man or the Taxi Cab Man.
When a new employee would move to Walmart and they didn't have a ride, they'll say, "Where's the man who give rides?"
But his family always came first.
He said, "Mom and me."
When Andrew wasn't working, he took care of his disabled mom.
He had to take her to her doctor's appointments and cook for her, wash for his mother, even after he worked for 12 hours.
Andrew will be missed by his family, co-workers, and customers. 4 memory books full of comments show just how much people appreciated the man who made everyone smile.
He has lived his life through action, not talk. All of these people had something positive to say about him.
In New Hope, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Andrew's funeral was last Saturday. His family is trying to raise $4,000 to pay for funeral costs, and we have information on our website if you would like to help out. Funeral services for a Golden Valley man who died while helping another driver last week are scheduled for Thursday in Eden Prairie. Last Friday night, Stephen Rose pulled over near the Highway 169 and Bass Lake Road interchange in Plymouth to aid a motorist who had spun out. While Rose was checking on the driver, another vehicle spun out on the bridge and struck Rose, killing him. The 37-year-old Rose worked at Caribou Coffee in New Hope and for a company in St. Paul. He had a wife and had 2 kids. Stephen Rose Memorial Fund for his boys has been set up through Wells Fargo. A mechanical problem with a van led to a more serious issue for a driver in Brooklyn Park Wednesday morning. Fire officials say a woman was inside a minivan when it lurched forward from a parking lot and landed in a waist-deep pond in the 9400 block of Winnetka. 2 firefighters put on their cold water suits and waded in to help the woman climb to the roof and then onto a long extension ladder that was connected to a truck. She was able to use the ladder to get to dry land. Fire officials say she was not hurt. A group of parents and caregivers came together concerned about the impact of possible Medicaid cuts. Congress is currently working on tax reform with possible cuts to entitlements like Medicaid, and reporter Shannon Slatton has more.
For many people, possible cuts to Medicaid are personal. We spoke with a New Hope father who has a son with disabilities. He says the services his son received, thanks in part to Medicaid funding, were life-changing.
My son is 22 years old. He's more of a functioning member of society than we ever could have hoped for 10, 12 years ago. And I can tell you right now, without those services, I don't know what would have happened.
Hugh Kirsch is one of the caregivers who spoke today at a press conference geared to call attention to the impact of possible Medicaid cuts. Group members held signs and talked about ways Medicaid dollars help people they serve.
Because 40% of Medicaid costs go to support seniors and people with disabilities, there is no way to hold these Minnesotans harmless if Medicaid were to be cut or capped.
The cuts are supposed to be $1.5 trillion, but it is uncertain exactly which services will be included in those cuts. House Republicans are expected to unveil their bill later this week. Alex?
All right, thanks a lot, Shannon. With the Super Bowl coming to town, we are hearing more about the problem of sex trafficking and the exploitation of women. It was the topic of an event at North Hennepin Community College. White middle-class men are the top buyers of sex, so big events tend to fuel a rise in sex trafficking. And Native American women are especially vulnerable because of poverty and homelessness. Keynote speaker Patina Park is spreading awareness and exposing the roots of the problem in the Native community.
It is so prevalent because it's an experience of colonization. It's gone on since first contact. So it's a multi-generational, multi-historic trauma that has occurred to the community. And so there's almost a normalization that has occurred.
The FBI has identified the Minneapolis metro area as having a high level of child sex trafficking, with the average age of entry between 12 and 13 years old.
On the day after Halloween, are you stuck with a candy overload? Maybe you're finding your kids brought home too much candy, or maybe you just didn't give it all away. Well, Goodwill stores in the metro area have a way that you can get rid of unwanted sweets and do good at the same time. Each store is collecting leftover Halloween candy in a special container.
So this is our Treats for Troops candy donation bin that we have in each of our store locations. So customers can come in and bring their excess candy here. It opens up. We've got a collection bin inside. We've already got a few pieces this morning.
The candy will go to a vet center in St. Paul, which will then distribute it to military service members throughout the Twin Cities. And you can drop off candy through Sunday, and you'll get a 20% off coupon for use at a Goodwill store. Well, still ahead on CCX News, we head to Heritage Christian Academy in Maple Grove to meet this week's standout student.
Plus, highlights from 4 big matches in the volleyball playoffs as teams battle for spots in the section finals.
But first, no precipitation on Thursday, but temperatures remain chilly, highs only in the lower 40s. Nathan Crellin has a love for nature and the outdoors that's helping to chart his future plans.
And Neil Persley spent some time with today's standout student at Heritage Christian Academy.
Looking at the dorsal side, looking at the ventral side.
Just exploring God's wonderful creation and just exploring different opportunities and different ways I can put myself out there and just explore the world around me.
Nathan Crellin loves the outdoors, and as a senior at Heritage Christian Academy, has the opportunity to explore the natural world that so fascinates him.
My primary interest would probably be like environmental science, whether that be environmental engineering or biology or chemistry or something like that.
I've known him since he was in the 7th grade.
Jackie Zaki teaches science at Heritage and consequently has gotten to observe a lot of Nathan's academic growth.
He has a lot of insight into thinking through the questions. He's kind of a deep thinker, and so I really like that, about Nathan.
Nathan has made the highest honor roll several times and participates in a variety of clubs and organizations like the National Honor Society, the Maple Grove Rotary Club Ethics Workshop, the Chick-fil-A Leader Academy, the HCA Honor Choir, as well as many sports at Heritage.
My dad is actually a soil scientist for the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and he's always kind of talked to me about different things in nature and how things work, and I've just kind of always been influenced by him.
Nathan's longtime science teacher summed up his outstanding character traits.
He's respectful to his teachers, respectful to his coaches, respectful to his friends, and that quality probably stands out to me as one of his #1 qualities.
In Maple Grove, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Although he hasn't made a final decision yet, Nathan says he is looking at attending either Colorado Christian University in Denver or South Dakota State University in Brookings. Still ahead, food for thought when it comes to your Halloween pumpkins.
But first, Maple Grove's girls soccer team is headed to the state championship game. John Jacobson shows us how they advanced. Next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson. The Maple Grove girls soccer team is making the most of their first trip to the state tournament in program history. The Crimson played a nail-biter in the Class AA semifinals. Maple Grove facing Lakeville North. Scoreless in the second half, Shelby Handberger with a chance, but it's stopped by Margaret Flaherty. Flaherty with another nice stop here in the hard shot by Maple Grove's Meredith Hawkinson. This one goes to a shootout, and the Panthers hit the post on 3 of their attempts. That opens the door wide for MG, and Hawkinson delivers the clincher, sending the Crimson to the state final. Maple Grove will face Egan, the team that knocked Wayzata out of the tournament in the semifinals. That's in the title game Thursday at 5:30 at US Bank Stadium. Spots in the section volleyball finals were on the line Tuesday night for several local teams. Maple Grove played a thriller in the Section 5 3A semifinals. Crimson facing St. Michael Albertville. Syra Tanchin drops this hit to the deep quarter as St. Michael Albertville takes the first set 25-21. Maple Grove comes back in the second. Lexi Preed's cross-court shot is good for a kill. Coach Sean Hoggins' Crimson pull out a tight 27-25 win. It's back and forth all night. Lexi Nelson sets back row to Samantha Palmer for the kill. Coach Michelle Chen and the Knights prevail 25-22. They go up 2-1. In the fourth, Annika Peeler gets the block on set point. Maple Grove wins 25-21 to force a 5th set. And Grove starts strong. Madison Black's block here makes it 5-1 Crimson. But St. Michael Albertville rallies, and they win the 5th set 15-9 to eliminate Maple Grove. The top seed in Section 5 3A is Champlin Park. The Rebels look to take a step closer to another trip to the state tournament. Rebels taking on 5th-seeded Rogers in front of a good Halloween night crowd. First set. Rebels' Izzy Ashburn sets the ball to Emma Schmidt, who pounds it home. And it's 25-13, the Rebels winning set 1. Second set, Schmidt as the setter. Gets it back to Ashburn, who rips one down the line for a point. Champlin Park up 10-4 at this point, and they win it 25-12. Coach T.J. Canham sees his Rogers team play a much closer set in set 3, but the Rebels still prevail. Jordan Stalpus with a kill there. Rebels win in 3 over Rogers. That sets up Thursday's final. St. Michael Albertville meets the Rebels for the championship. That's at 7 o'clock at Osseo High School. In Section 6 3A, top seed Hopkins is looking to repeat as section champion. The Royals facing Edina in one of the semifinals off a Hornets serve. Nicole Class to tear a lead. Jay Nelson there for the kill. Early 8-5 lead for the Royals. Then it's Lee with a quick set to Shadir Tutt. Hammers it home here. And 25-21 win for Hopkins in the first set. Edina takes a lead early in the second. Christine Graff with an ace serve, putting the Hornets ahead 7-4. But just as Land Shark is settling in for more, Hopkins retakes the lead. Tutt's hit gets dug up nicely, but Lee gets the big block for the Royals. And a point for Hopkins. Lee with another set assist here, getting to Anna Erickson for a kill. Hopkins wins the second set 25-19. They win the third set as well. Royals sweep the Hornets, and they advance to the Section 6 final once again.
Edina's a great team, and they competed really hard, and we did too. We made adjustments in the third set that really put us ahead of them, and I think that's why we won that third set big.
Second semifinal, Benilde St. Margaret's and Armstrong both in red, so this won't be hard to follow at all. First set, Armstrong's Riley Fry. Back set, Lauren Clark. Her kill gives the Falcons a 17-13 lead. Off of Benilde serve, the pass goes from Clark to Fry, and she sets up Olivia Hecht for the kill. Armstrong wins the first set 25-16. It's pretty close all night, but Benilde is just a little bit better from there on out. Anna Carr, the pass, Carol Volbrick to Maisie Jackson, her kill down for a point. Benilde wins 25-22. Set 3, Benilde's Saika Favor passes to Volbrick, setting up Jackson again outside this time for the attack, and the Red Knights are up 8-4. Later in the set, Volbrick with a quick set to Favor for a kill. Red Knights win the third set 25-19, and then they close it out with a 25-23 win. They take it 3-1. It's the Red Knights advancing to the Section 6 final.
I I mean, I was nervous all day going into this. I knew it was going to be a rough battle. I knew that we were going to have to fight really hard, harder than we fought all season, and just seeing the progression of our team throughout the season has been amazing. Like, I feel on top of the world right now.
In the championship match, it's Benil beating Hopkins. That's Saturday at noon at Cooper High School. In other section volleyball, Totino Grace and West Lutheran were both eliminated in the semifinals of their respective section tournaments. It's state championship day in soccer coming up Thursday. That's all for sports today. Alex and Mike, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Well, still ahead, why you should not toss your Halloween pumpkin in the garbage.
And we will show you the best ways to get rid of them when we come back. Welcome back. Pumpkins are one of the few vegetables that farmers grow where many are not meant to be eaten.
Of course, there are a lot of carved pumpkins headed for the trash in the week after Halloween, but your old pumpkin could still be useful in other ways. The cities of Brooklyn Park and Plymouth are collecting them for recycling. In Brooklyn Park, a large container located in Central Park will be filled with discarded jack-o'-lanterns by next Monday. Recycling experts say there's still value in an old pumpkin.
We want to keep them out of the trash because they're a valuable resource. So we've set up a system to collect them here, and then we will compost them, and then that finished compost we will use on various city projects.
Residents of Brooklyn Center, Crystal, and New Hope can dump pumpkins at the Brooklyn Park location. In Plymouth, they're taking pumpkins through November 12th at the maintenance facility on 23rd Avenue. Those pumpkins will be turned into food for farm animals. In both cities, officials asked that, of course, you take out the candles or other decorations before dumping them off. Goodbye, pumpkins. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
And we're going to leave you with some Halloween highlights, thanks to some of the families right here at CCX News. Enjoy.